So Trump has very thin support from the Supreme Court on deporting illegals. Alito's on board. That's still going to be argued and continue. But does he have the strength and backing of the House and Senate to deport illegal aliens? We're going to find out, because that would be, if you get two branches of government in agreement, you're looking pretty good. Welcome to the Doug TenNapel channel. I'm Doug TenNapel. This is where the Happy Patriots are. Like, subscribe, and share. Leave a comment below if you believe that Trump is going to get to continue to deport illegal aliens, as he's planning to do already.
Trump versus the judges. The president himself, writing on Truth Social yesterday, quote, "The courts are intimidated by the radical left who are playing the ref." Great Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito correctly wants to dissolve the pause on deportations. He's right on this. We cannot give everyone a trial, because to do so would take, without exaggeration, 200 years. Joining me now is Mike Davis, founder and president of Article 3 Project. Mike, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here. This new form of lawfare, I know we've seen different variations of lawfare, but is what we're seeing now, where judges from all different courts are coming in and trying to rein the president in on his executive powers, is that something we're going to have to live with for the full term of Trump?
President Trump campaigned on the fact he's going to secure our border. He's going to deport illegal immigrants who are all criminals, especially Tren de Aragua, foreign terrorists, and MS-13 gangbangers. And President Trump is doing exactly what he promised American voters he would do. He has the support of the House and the Senate. So these plaintiffs are running to judicial activists.
Okay, there you go. Trump has a support of the House and Senate. So that's why they're running to the judiciary, to Democrat judges who are performing their judicial tyranny. They're going to have to rule on this at some point. The higher court, the Supreme Court, this is where Justice Roberts really screwed up, and has to absolutely address this at the Supreme Court level to start spelling out why a lower court is able to challenge the president.
Judicial saboteurs who are not exercising judicial review, they are exercising judicial sabotage. And the Supreme Court has allowed this to go on for way too long. I'm wondering when these 7 self-appointed generals on the Supreme Court and their legal advisors at the ACLU are going to let the president do his job as commander-in-chief and get these terrorists out of our country.
Well, you mentioned the border issues, which he certainly campaigned on, but he also campaigned on cutting government, cutting the waste and fraud out of government. And he's been doing it in all the different agencies with the help of DOJ, of course. But this is just breaking now. There's a D.C. court judge, not surprisingly from Washington, D.C., Royce Lamberth, who just is calling for the restoration of all those who lost their jobs at Voice of America. So I'm just wondering, will there be some Supreme Court ruling over the next several months, or maybe even if I have to wait a year for it?
It's not going to take a year. I'll wait for what Mike Davis answers. I'll only tell you why it has to take place, because otherwise you do not have a presidency. The Democrats are going to use judges to reverse everything he does. Some lower court judge comes in and forces him to pay all of the U.S. aid people. He literally has no power. He's not even being challenged by the Supreme Court. This is a lower court telling the president what to do. This is so far out of bounds, so ridiculous. And I can't believe Justice Roberts and the rest of the Supreme Court, who were not Sam Alito, have backed this cockamamie scam up. It's how far the democracy, and frankly, it makes our country look defunct. Makes our country look stupid. Judge Roberts has undermined the rule of law and the executive branch.
As long as it comes down, that would stop this kind of lawfare. Is it conceivable that we could get some Supreme Court ruling like that?
Well, it depends. These should be 9-0 decisions for the president, because he's exercising core Article 2 executive power. He's not stealing Congress's legislative power under Article 1 of the Supreme Court's judicial power under Article 3. So I guess it depends on if the Supreme Court justices are going to show up with their backbones at work when they have to rule on these cases.
Next one, Mike, and this has less to do with lawfare than it does with the coalition of the legacy media working with insiders inside the Beltway, some of whom are part of the deep state and been there for decades. Others are kind of newcomers, but specifically regarding Secretary of Defense Hegseth and all this information that's coming out. I know you helped out with his nomination process and his getting in there as SecDef. But I want to play a soundbite from Pete from this morning. He was on Fox, and he talks about what's going on. I'm going to roll that and get your reaction. Roll it.
This is what it's all about, trying to get at President Trump and his agenda. Why would it surprise anybody, Brian, if those very same people keep leaking to the very same reporters whatever information they think they can have to try to sabotage the agenda of the president or the secretary? So if they want to keep leaking and pushing and peddling things that try to sabotage the president's agenda, that's unfortunate. But that's how leaking works in this town. We're focused on recruiting, on rooting out DEI, on securing our southwest border, on the president's agenda, and it's going very well at the Pentagon.
Yeah, if you look at the all of their recruiting is up through the roof. My own son is considering going in, but Pete Hegseth's doing great at his job. It's just there's Democrat insiders at the Pentagon working against him through leaks.
I'm proud of it.
So, Mike, what do you make of all these leakers? What can be done about that, if anything?
I think Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is doing a fantastic job. He's killing terrorists abroad, and he's using our military to secure our border. He has the president's strong support, and everything else is just a distraction.
By the way, you didn't mention what I think is most important. The recruitment is way up. I mean, people all over America, good patriots all over America are coming in saying, this is the kind of military that I want to sign up for. And the recruitment is just absolutely through the roof right now. He gets credit. You judge a person by the work that they do, I think, not by all these whispers behind the scenes that the Beltway is so involved with, right?
Yeah, illegal immigration is down 95%, in big part because of Pete Hegseth, DHS Secretary. The borders are, President Trump is focused like a laser beam on securing our border and protecting Americans, and Pete Hegseth is doing a fantastic job.
But about the leakers, I mean, is it within his authority to get rid of those once he can trace back those leaks?
Oh, of course he can get rid of them. I want to know, do you guys think there's going to be anyone going to prison? Anyone going to be walked out in cuffs for leaking top secret information from the Pentagon? How's that even a question? He's going, can Trump even fire him? Of course he can fire him.
To individuals who were not supposed to do that, he has full authority to get rid of him, doesn't he?
Sure. If that ends up that these people are unlawfully leaking, he can get rid of them. I would say this is a distraction. Focus on securing the border and killing terrorists abroad.
That sounds good to me. Mike Davis.
You know, the definition of a leak is it's something that's supposed to be hidden or not in the public. Look, if you work for Walgreens and you leak all kinds of personal stuff from the Walgreens records out to the public, you'd be fired. If it was high enough and valuable enough and secure enough, like with our military, you'd be court-martialed. You'd be run out of certainly run out of the institution and probably have time to pay, perhaps get court-martialed or get defrocked is what I want. But what do you guys think? Is anything going to happen with the leakers at the Pentagon? Anything going to happen with the Supreme Court? Will Trump be able to do his deportations? I want to hear from you guys in the comments below. Trump will continue to deport and should continue to deport, or you believe it's going to stop? I say let's keep going. I'm Doug TenNapel. This is the Doug TenNapel Channel.